Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, hi guys, I hope all is well. So, I'm just here minding my business, and something told me to go and check and look, and the segment from yesterday did not upload. Now, what's even wilder is it's not even in the drafts, and usually when that happens, I can see it sitting in the drafts, and it's not even in the drafts. So, two things. What usually happens is the creator will block a message from going out, which I don't even think it was that. Or sometimes people are deliberately throwing magic at the channel and I am distracted, okay? I'll go with the latter. I was definitely distracted yesterday. It was one of those days. So yeah. Now, the message from yesterday, I'll get back into it. Okay. The day before, we discussed the Immaculate Conception, and then we had two other talking points for the segment. Now, we didn't go into full detail about everything, but the creator wanted to just go back into this conversation. As a person who is Muslim, who has taken Shahada, who has practiced other religions, Islam, and when I say Christianity, I mean different sects, right? Because being a Rastafarian is Christianity, being Catholic is, being a part of the Christian community. My grandmother who raised me was a Catholic person, so I was exposed to some of the beliefs and the culture and lifestyle of a Catholic person, okay, right? Now, Jesus, the Immaculate Conception, is central to all of these walks of life, okay? Even in Islam, the Immaculate Conception is mentioned, is talked about, is considered, is in the Quran, along with a few other stories of the Bible, right? And some other sacred texts. Even when you go into ancient and esoteric knowledge, the Immaculate Conception is mentioned. Again, depending on your culture, your religion, and your overall understanding of these stories is going to determine how you perceive it. Now, Jesus was a man of immense spiritual gifts, okay? We talked about how people who are from an earlier period in civilization are more familiar with the Immaculate Conception and how being able to reproduce without engaging in sexual intercourse is possible, and it's more well known to people of an earlier period or of particular populations, religions, and cultures, right? Sorry, got a little distracted. See? Jesus was a man of immense spiritual gifts, okay? Jesus was the man who walked this dimension, right? Who is spread across several timelines, who possessed every spiritual gift that any human being could ever possess, okay? Any gift that the Creator would give a man, a human being, when I say man, I mean a human being, man, was possessed by Jesus, okay? Even when they talk about him walking on water, right? He was levitating. And of course, there are some people who can still levitate, right? You have the monks, you have spiritual practitioners who, practice a particular level of spirituality that is more secret and private, and it's not really attainable to many different groups in different areas, right? He had the ability to shapeshift. He was intergalactic, okay? He could be in multiple places at one time. He was a seer, okay? And I'm just naming ones that are really grand, but he possessed gifts that some men will never have and that are only known to a select few is the point here, okay? So his spiritual abilities was a testament of how great the Creator was, his connection with the Creator and the universe and all of the Creator's other creations, okay? This argument can go on and on for centuries, but the overall premise here is that Jesus was a staple across several cultures because he represented the Creator in multiple ways. Okay? And there's this misconception that a lot of people from different religious backgrounds don't believe in Jesus, and it's simply not true. It's really good to read, educate yourself, do your own research, and stop going off of the word of other people, because the information is in plain text. It's in writing, and we can look these things up for ourselves, okay? Now, when it comes to being able to identify, that is also a gift. The ability to see the creations and how things are created, that also calls for a particular level of connecting with God, right? The Creator wants you to be able to be plugged in, to all of the different frequencies that are attached to his higher vibrational creations. This is how a lot of the things you don't understand become plain. This is how God makes things plain to you. This is how your ability to understand and connect increases. This is how your insight evolves and expands. Your job is to connect yourself to the Creator in everything that he created. And that's everything, right? Your understanding and your perception of these things will evolve as you rank up in spirituality. Jesus was a man. He was a high-ranking being. His level of spirituality and spiritual practices were, again, familiar to those. And even if you look at people who have access to highly sensitive, highly spiritual information, to different philosophies that are connected to different cultures and different regions of the world, then you'll see that I think the people who have the greatest understanding of all of this are scientists who just so happen to believe in God, right? Because we have a lot of people who practice Satanism, who practice atheism, who can see the signs and the synchronicities and the connections between all of what the Creator has made, but they, for whatever reason, decide to remove the Creator as the centerpiece, as the central piece of all of these things. I would never understand that, but this is what's happening. People are removing God and coming up with different reasons for things and why they are and how they are, right? So we have to understand that there's no real reason for plugging into things and making a better understanding of it if we're not going to connect with Source. If the Creator is going to be removed from that. People even consider Jesus to be God. Again, God was a man who possessed immense spiritual gifts. He possessed every spiritual gift known to man in all timelines thus far. Okay? A lot of people from different cultures and religion, they have their one understanding of Jesus is going to vary across the planes. But the overall understanding, no matter where you are, no matter what language you speak, no matter what culture you grow up in, no matter what type of information you may have access to, okay? The Creator selected Jesus for different timelines for this dimension and plenty other. Mainly this dimension, but multiple timelines, okay? If you have been given the blessing of being able to be intelligent enough to understand certain things, then you will have that understanding, right, of what all of this is connected to, what it is about, and what it ultimately means. Now, before we go, I wanted to make the point that as we begin to rise and phase out through these cycles and go into the new cycles, leaving the old, as we begin to rise in our own vibrations, as we begin to shift, we are going to be moving closer into the consciousness that Christ carried. And we talked about this before, just sharing this consciousness and being in alignment with the universe and being in alignment with other dimensions and timelines and creations of the Creator. This is simply us moving into the consciousness that Christ carried. It was not about the physical body. It was about the spirit. It was about the overall understanding of what Christ was moving us into. We didn't have a real understanding of what God was trying to express and reveal to us until we got a better look at Jesus. Okay, so this is why Jesus is the staple, because he is the testament and a physical depiction of what God is revealing to us, of what God can do through man, of what God is exposing. That consciousness is referred to as the Christ consciousness because Jesus Christ possessed all of the spiritual gifts that God will ever give a man. He is the one person who walked the face of this earth in multiple timelines to understand multiple facets of the Creator. Okay? So this is what makes him so important. A lot of the babies that were born from 19 moving forward are going to possess a lot of those gifts, and this is why we're moving into a Christ consciousness, because we are having to parent these children, and a lot of them are not going to necessarily need our guidance as parents, but we will need to be in a spiritual vibration in order for them to pick up what is being put down. Okay, that is the gist here. Your physical self, your physical body is one thing, but your spiritual self needs to be in alignment with a whole bunch of other things that are connected with the Creator. And that is the time that we're living in. We're moving into the understanding of Christ and the consciousness that was placed within him by the Creator during a particular time, and we're rolling back into those cycles. Okay? So maybe we'll look into the cycles that the Creator manifested in and carried around with him. Okay? It'll make more sense later. But I do love y'all. Hope y'all are drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea because it's free, and enjoying y'all's weekend. Alright? Love y'all. Peace.